All right, all right. I'm Davin. I'm in Central Texas, and I am winning in crypto. How is that possible? It's because I listened to an entrepreneur, and this entrepreneur told me all about crypto and what he was going to do to clean it up. And he cleaned it up, and I'm very, very happy with what he's done. And he's not finished. He continues to work. But whenever it is that you want to profit from other people, technically it's not supposed to be work. So we're at a very interesting time in history where the people are creating currencies. And so I like to call cryptocurrency social currency because it's your choice. What do you want to use? We just want an honest system. So we're creating an honest system, something that you can see straight through. You can actually check, verify. I want an honest system to live by. I want people to stop jerking me around. My candle, this is my second live stream today, and my candle basically went down to the bottom last live stream. But I'm going to see what miles I can get out of it. I've got plenty more up there. I think I bought too many at one time in order to get free shipping off Amazon. But whatever. I had too much stuff to do in between the live streams. Plus conversations, people to catch up with. Who am I? A guy that's profited. A guy who's ready to share with the rest of the world the stories. What's up, Scott? Good evening. Would you be interested on coming on live? Let me grab the invite link is now in the chat. This is all being recorded and is going to post whenever I say, let's exit this thing. And so I've got some web pages laid out that I'll share screen here in a little bit. And then if you don't want to come live, then you can just type in your questions or have a conversation with me in the chat. The requirements for coming on live would be that it doesn't echo back into the microphone. So like your audio doesn't bounce off your car interior window and then, or bathroom, and then back into the microphone. So headpieces are appreciated, earpieces. But yeah, we're blazing a trail right now. There is a particular guy who is cleaning up crypto, and he's doing an amazing job so far. He is out in front of the crypto rather than hiding within the mulched ground of the crypto, or even hiding in the depths 6 feet under, like Satoshi Nakamoto. We don't know where that guy is, the creator of Bitcoin. We have no idea. So yeah, I'm texting some friends, seeing if they'll come join. All right. So Scott, as you have questions, let me know. You're telling me that you're gonna just join by chat. That's cool. I appreciate that. So let me bring on my other screen. This right here is Richard Hart. He is the successful entrepreneur that I've been talking about. He's been successful in multiple things, and then he has been a Bitcoin holder from the beginning. He used to mine Bitcoin. He's made a lot of money off of Bitcoin. He's held Bitcoin during its ups and downs. And he has no reason to create anything that would sabotage other people's lives. He's already successful. He's already wealthy. Now he wants to give back to the world. This is his website at richardhart.com. This is at one of the multiple presentations that he's given, lecture series. Whenever it is that Bitcoiners or Ethereum or all of cryptocurrency people have get-togethers, whenever it is that they have conferences, then Richard, for many years now, has been able to be high up enough to be asked to come and do presentations. But like anyone who values their life these days and is very active, then it's not like he can catch all these events around the world. And then with COVID stuff like that, it's limited people's travel even more. So he likes to keep his location anonymous, but he's over in Europe, but he was born in the United States. I think that he's still a U.S. citizen. I'm not sure, but born in Miami, talks like perfect English, business whenever he's around business people, and then alters it a little bit whenever he's around other people. But he's a great figurehead to have in front of your organization, because, like I say, a lot of cryptocurrency people or projects don't have anybody guiding them, have no face whatsoever. It's just a bunch of, I hope those digits work out for me. Going to the next thing, if you were to get on YouTube and search Richard Hart interview, I think this first one that pops up, where the color scheme is turquoise and yellow, I think that that's a badass interview. It's a great introduction. And so it's this Asian girl here, at least that's what I think she is. She works for a very successful company as their anchor, and so I think this is called Link Up TV. They interview people that are like, I think, pop culture on the edge of things. So it was a good interview, and I think it does a good job of giving people who are outside of cryptocurrency a look on a good look of the broad spectrum we call crypto and how it works in the world. So this top one here, Richard's about 41 years old, in case you're wondering. So Richard founded this token called Hex Token, and it allows you to earn interest on your crypto. Just plain and simple. You have an amount of tokens and you get back more tokens. And how do you do that? You submit those tokens to a contract. And how does the whole ecosystem work? People have to acquire the tokens in the first place. So there's a market outside of you interacting with this contract in order to earn interest. Where does this interest come from? The yearly inflation is divided amongst the people who are also submitting their value to the contract. So other people who stake their tokens, just like you, are also earning interest. And there's a set inflation that is brought into the system that's coded into the contract that you're interacting with. And that's the Hex contract. So we're just talking about one coin here. And there's multiple cryptocurrencies, and a lot of them do nothing. A lot of them are just a unit that you're able to hold in your wallet. A lot of people have a lot of confusion about what currencies should be and what money is. There's all sorts of ideas of what use case should be, but there's not many valid reasons to have a cryptocurrency. So this cryptocurrency works just like a CD that you would get at the bank. So you would go to a US dollar bank and you would say, hey, I want a time deposit. I want a certificate deposit. And because they're dealing with you in USD, they're going to give you interest in USD back whenever it is that that time deposit ends. So instead of going to your bank, you could just go to this contract in the privacy of your own home and earn interest. And because of the way that, or the amount of people that are interacting with this contract right now, you can get really good rates. A lot of people in cryptocurrency don't understand how simple this can be, how simple a financial tool in their ecosystem can be. And so there's a lot of fudders. There's a lot of people who they just disagree with somebody creating a product that's only a financial product. Instead, it needs to be like a really souped up toy. As you're a kid, you know, you want like all the cool little add-ons and stuff that do nothing. That's kind of like how cryptocurrency people are. It's really immature in cryptocurrency right now. There are professionals there, but there are a lot of people who just have skewed ideas of even what their own ideas are. So, cryptocurrency is a digital ledger that everybody agrees upon. And so that's how it replaces monetary systems. And we're talking about monetary systems here. We're talking about world economy attachments, world currencies, rivaling world currencies, and at the peak of technology. We've created, or Richard Hart has created, and team have created a time deposit on the Ethereum blockchain that is trustless. You don't have to trust anything. The code does its thing. And whenever you delete man in between you and your gains, between you and the value of your money, a lot of things happen. A lot of honesty happens. Some honest power can be derived out of that and placed in an honest place. That's what we're talking about. That's why cryptocurrencies are so powerful, because we can send money across the world and get something done. We can resolve a need on the other side of the world. So whenever it is that hex.com is advertised, then often we like to tell people that 38%, you possibly could get 38% per annual interest return. So you have to lock up your tokens for longer than like 6 months in order for the mathematics to work out to where, I'm sorry, not 6 months, 6 years. The maximum amount that you can lock it up, do without it, stake it, whatever you want to call it, push it out into the future and earn interest on. The maximum amount that you can push it out for in days is 5,555. That's what the code has been set for. When you lock it up longer than 6 years, which is less than half of what I just said in the days, then you'll get about that 38% return per year. So I'm talking about being at 138% by the end of the first year. And then there's the possibility of price appreciation on the tokens that you had in the first place. And then the price of them whenever you have more of them later on, after you tell the contract that you're done. Do you have any questions, Scott, in the chat? Hex.com, this website right here, in the top left, has the price. It's about 15 cents right now, a Hex token. And then on the right side here, this is the capabilities of connecting a wallet and doing an exchange. This is probably the front end of Uniswap. That's one website that I don't have the tab up to arrive at later. So yeah, you could just click through these later on. Okay. We sponsored a NASCAR once or twice or 3 times. This is JJ Yeeley. That's Yeeley. And someone in the Hex community got word that we would have the capabilities of sponsoring a NASCAR for Daytona. And so the Hex community raised $600,000 in 5 days in order to sponsor this thing. And all we needed was about 550. And so somehow new contributors plus existing contributors made it to where we sponsored multiple races instead of just ending at one. But doesn't that car look beautiful? And the community comes up with the organization of the person who's collecting the money, the person who's interacting with all the NASCAR rules, the person who's the graphic designer who's shooting out designs in order to wrap the car. It's just a beautiful thing whenever it is that people are able to self-organize and that they already have funding. Because that's basically what we're here for, is having funding for the things that matter. We're trying to correct the world here. All right, here's some stats. Supposedly we're ranked number 12 in market cap. That's pretty high. And we're on 36 exchanges. Whenever it is that people have the opportunity to stake for 5,555 days or 1 day or anywhere in between, they chose on average to stake for 6.4 years. And the reason why is because the amount of interest that you earn is decided on how much you put forth and also how far you put it into the future. And the furthest into the future is what pays the most. That's what really allows the mathematics to add up in your favor. So it's definitely beneficial to lock in your interest rate now because the interest rate just continues to get worse over time. And that's the gamification of this whole thing. If you decide to lock up the same amount of coins a week from now, you would have a lesser interest rate than if you did it today. And is this a hex chart? This might be a hex chart. Days since launch. Yeah. So notice this is in days. And so behind my head over here in the bottom left corner, it says 1. And then here it says 100, 200. Because how many days has it been since launch? It's only been 860 or so days. 800 and I don't know, 840, 850. I can just check this next website. This says 848 days. That's what day we're on right now. And the clock is going to tick over in 35 minutes and 11 seconds. And the reason why this timer needs to be here is because we need to know what's happening. We need to have a day turnover for all the code to be run. So if you say that you want to stake a certain amount of tokens for a certain amount of time, we need to have this, okay, the day starts now. Or actually, day 845 is going to start in 34 minutes. And then if you staked it for 5,000 days, then it would be, like 5,846. Boom. Now your tokens are freed up, and your interest has been deposited on top of your principal. Now you're seeing the whole bulk. If it is that you decide, like, oops, I want to pull out early, you get punished for that. You can do it, and there's some reasons to do that sort of thing. Maybe price appreciation just exceeded your expectations, and you'd like to take those gains. So be it. But you get punished for that, and we all love it because it keeps everyone honest. So we can have a forward trajectory. We can have a forward-looking statement chart of like what everybody's receivings are going to look like in the future. And so that's what this is. Hex.vision is a website created by the community, just some community member who loved the Hex product, decided that they would contribute in this way, their talents. And so at hex.vision, at the bottom of this website, you can see a forward-looking situation of when stakes are going to come out. Now, this is not like broken down per address. Instead, it's a lump sum. But all the way back to, let's see, we're at hex.com. And there are hex ads everywhere. Community members have been placing them in some interesting places, even on the side of soccer games. I told you about Hex Race Car. Down at the bottom, you can find all sorts of links to social medias. Here you can find a few websites that are favored by the founder. So hex.vision that I was just talking about is right here. Hexgraphs.com, that's a pretty cool one. Look into Hex, that's an interesting community member. Staker app, which you could get on your cell phone and watch your portfolio, is right here. Also, they could be a complete custodial situation if it is that somebody doesn't know anything about crypto and they really don't want to learn anything. This might be a really easy experience for them. And that is built by a few of the most talented community members since the beginning. A lot of us have been watching. Most all of us, people who have been in Hex for a long time, have been watching this. I'm sorry, have been watching our portfolio through this. Oh, there's crazy flames over here. I had to do it. So that's a green candle. Do you get the reference? Green candle rather than a red candle going down. Green candle going up. And then also Richard Hart has like really nice things in his videos. And so I just started decorating my place in order to appeal a little bit. So I'm in the corner of my front room studio and I'm having a ball. Thank you for listening to me. Thanks for the practice. Like I said earlier on the phone, Scott, that I created a group with the help of others that is about land regenerative processes and body regenerative processes. And in order to relate it to the Hex community, like all these people who are in the cryptocurrency, I called it Hex Foodies. And so anyone who is on Telegram app can look for Hex Foodies. And if it is that you're in the Texas area, you can look for the group Hex Texas. We're about 80 or 90 strong in that group. So let's go to the next tab. If you're looking at cryptocurrencies, then you kind of want to know like how big is the cryptocurrency that you're looking at. And so there are these websites that are called market cap websites, where it's like how much dough is in this ball. Basically, you take the price of a coin and then you times it by how many coins there are in existence, and that's a market cap. So this website here is one of many that lists Hex, but there are also a few that don't list Hex, so I wasn't going to visit those. And notice that the last website we were at said that Hex was number 12. And I'm looking at this one and it says that Hex is number 6. So there's different ways that these market cap websites are reading these things, and they give prioritization to tokens or coins that have been in their favor. So this is where people can be persuaded with money, and it can definitely affect whose eyes see projects or products. So in cryptocurrency, there's a lot of promises. And so that's why I keep correcting myself. Instead of saying projects, I want to say product is what Hex is. If you're around crypto, you would probably hear about Cardano or XRP. Maybe you would hear about Binance Coin and the Binance Exchange. And the reason why this coin has gotten so popular is because whenever it is that you choose to use the Binance Exchange, you would have to give over this Binance coin in order to create a trade to transact. And that's why this coin is popular. The exchanges have been a place that they charge a fee on both sides of the trade. They charge a fee when you want to sell something and when you want to buy something. So they're the ones who have been making a lot of money lately in cryptocurrency. They have a lot of sway. This number 3 coin is called Tether. It's because it stays tethered to the US dollar. How it's able to do that? Supposedly they have assets that are backing them having a 1-to-1 with the US dollar. I call bullshit. I've been calling bullshit for 5 years now. It just didn't make sense to me. Like, I thought that there would need to be a lot behind that. And they're getting investigated. So my advice to anyone, don't mess with that. But if you have to, just move in and out of it. Use it for its utility. As an example, you're stuck with value in a certain token, and you want to stabilize that value, and you also you want to stabilize the value. Okay, then get over into a stable coin that is 1-to-1 with the US dollar. You get that? So there are things called stable coins that are 1-to-1 with the US dollar that you can get out of some volatile coin or token. You can get out of a volatile situation and into something that's stable and hold that value there. So I'm just saying, don't use USDT, this tether, to stay in it very long. Instead, get to where you need to go. If you wanted to use a stable coin to stay in for a little while, I would recommend this USDC coin. I don't really like stable coins because of what people I don't really like stable coins too much because people are able to get out of products or projects. But Hex has kind of solved that argument for me. And so Hex has created a reason to stay loyal to a coin. Whenever it is that you hold Hex, you could have it to where it's held liquid and it can be moved around. Or you could choose to lock it up and earn interest on it. And then at that point, you don't have it in your wallet. You have actually entered an agreement with the contract and burnt your Hex tokens, actually. They've completely been deleted, and the contract recognizes your address as the person that it's going to interact with in order to make sure that that value, uh, stays in cement until you come back to it and either want to break it open or end it with them. So going further up in this line, there's Ethereum and then Bitcoin at the top. Ethereum is the number 2 crypto. Ethereum is a crypto platform that is allowing projects to build products on it. So think of it as a bunch of computers spread out, and you can build things on top of it. And the consensus network is all run by Ethereum here. So everybody's talking Ethereum. And therefore, it takes Ethereum to make those computers talk to each other. And then whenever it is that you want something done on it, then you're paying that, and we call that gas. So Hex is a token that runs on Ethereum, And in order to get anything done in Hex, with Hex, you have to submit Ethereum as gas. So it's not like bribery, but you're asking for work to be done. And so you will provide what it is that the Hex contract says, as well as provide the fuel through Ethereum in order for the Ethereum workers, the spread out computers, to do their thing. So Bitcoin, the number one crypto, it's kind of the dinosaur. It's kind of the gold in crypto. There's a lot of question marks in it. There's a lot of people who got in early, as well as people who got in late, who are true believers of Bitcoin. But it's kind of the coin that created the space, but is kind of being outdated by a lot of people's perspectives. And so Bitcoin being the dinosaur, it has had bugs. It doesn't have a full team working on it. It doesn't have like a continuous development team. It doesn't have people building on top of it. So Ethereum is this next generation blockchain. And that's why it is that the Richard Hart founder released Hex on top of Ethereum. He did this in a timely manner in all of crypto. And that was 2.5 years ago. He initiated the contract, him and his devs, inserted the Hex token contract into the Ethereum blockchain on December 2nd, 2019. So December 2nd, 2019, I got to learn the entire system of Hex, like one-on-one. He had talked about how it was going to work, but that's when we actually like broke our virginity on the whole interacting with it. And it's a big thing. Like a lot of these things seem simple to people, but there's a lot behind it. You're here now giving this attention. There's a lot to be said for that. Instead of doing the multiple other things, like what stops you from doing anything? Just knowledge that it exists, that it could help you. Like people work much harder than how do I state this? If people didn't have to work so damn hard, they could start thinking about innovative ways to use their time wiser. But instead, that's just not the case. So here we are, the lucky ones who have the free time to be able to examine and learn this stuff and be a part of history. I'm going to forward this to a friend later on, and I'm hoping she's going to be able to get it all. So I've gone over some of this market cap stuff. Hex is a little bit harder to buy, to acquire. That's probably one of the reasons why it doesn't have a little shopping cart right next to its name. I think that's just because like they have sponsored links right here, and they're not able to get a sponsored one to buy Hex. So in order to interact with the contract, the Hex contract, I advise you have a Chrome browser on your computer, and you go to metamask.io and you download what's called the MetaMask wallet. And that's what this page is about. So this little fox figure, that guy will show up all over the place, and it'll be an extension into your browser. You'll see a little puzzle piece in the top right of your browser in order to initiate and get to know this. I will send you I will send you the PDF that I promised you, Scott, that will walk you through the stages and stuff. But we're just doing an overview for anybody that's going to see this later on YouTube. So this right here allows us to see inside of the Hex contract. And so this is go.hex.com, go.hex.com. It tells us what day it is. It allows us to attach our MetaMask wallet from our browser to the website here. And the website's just a window into the contract. And if we were to connect the wallet, then and if we connected the wallet, then you would see a bit more information here. And if you you could actually like toggle some information here on like how much hex would you want to put out for how many days. And there's a nice little feature here that shows you a calendar. In the early days, we didn't have that little feature, so we would sometimes get like our math on like wanting the stake to last just like one more day instead of this day short on accident, of course. So that's a great feature that's been added throughout the years. But like I say, this longer pays better staking bonus, that is something that will climb nicely. So check that out whenever it is that you decide to put, like $100. What is $100? Just a nice dinner's a nice dinner out for you and your lady. Like, just throw it out there. Just say, hey, we're going to stay in tonight, and throw it out for 15 years. And that one's gone. But it might end up being an amazing thing later on. Absolutely life-changing. This thing has already changed my life. And I've only been watching it for 3 years. So I cannot make forward statements for your health and for mine, because I'm an honest guy. Okay, so this is how you could interact with this website. These tabs up here at the top, some of them are outdated, like this claim one. Back in the day, if you owned Bitcoin, you could do a signature to your Bitcoin wallet saying that you really do own those and get free Hex. That time period is over. The idea to that was that Bitcoiners can go through this free claim situation and not be buttsore whenever it is that Hex outpaces Bitcoin. Know what I mean? Because Hex was originally called Bitcoin Hex. And the founder, Richard Hart, did away with the Bitcoin part of the title. The reason why is because the reason why it was called Bitcoin Hex is because it's meant to replace Bitcoin. It's better programmed than Bitcoin. Bitcoin, one of its flaws is that it doesn't have a healthy inflation rate. There's no way to earn interest without you lending out your Bitcoin. You would have to trust a third party in order to do something, to derive interest in order to pay you back. And so often in the past, exchanges or third parties would just run off with your Bitcoin. And who's going to stop them? What world governing um, institute, organization is going to stop them from running off with your Bitcoin? You were stupid enough to send them that Bitcoin. So we have all sorts of sayings in cryptocurrency. Not your keys, not your coin. Um, if you send it, it's theirs. You shouldn't be wondering what it is that somebody else is doing with your old coin, your coin that you don't have anymore. Scott, I think I lost you, man. This guy, Turfin1, made a comment, maybe that same comment like hours ago. So you're a bot, right? So the last thing Scott said was that he didn't have any questions at the time. But Scott, you didn't know that I can see how many people are watching from YouTube, and it says 0. But altogether, I could be wrong. Refer. There used to be a referral situation. Now there is a referral situation on this Staker app. If it is that you get to be a salesperson within the Hex community, you could quite possibly rack it in using these guys. And going further, transform, transfer, stake. So it's the stake tab that you'll want to. Scott's like, I'm watching. Sweet, dude. Yeah, it did some weird number thing. Are you keeping up, Scott? Am I going at an okay pace and staying on topic, or streamlined enough? I've got both caffeine and alcohol with me. So just tell me, do I need to take coffee or beer? Do I need to chill out or hype up? This this YouTube title is Crypto Dies. Yesterday's seeds are sprouting, I believe. Going forward, there's another website that I want to tell you about that is created by the community. It's called hexnoob.com. So that's hexnoob.com. Excuse me. Cool. He says, Scott says he's not getting everything, but he's new to the space and he's loving what he hears. Awesome. Awesome. Because a lot of people, they have to have the same scenario run by them multiple times. So just ask me a specific question if you have one. Let's play that game. And I'm just going to continue to go down my tabs. I don't really have too much more landscaping, I guess, to do, like any foundation work. But this, I mean, we're cleaning up crypto. I mean, there's not too much hard stuff for me to convey. This website is made so that people can be introduced to Hex and how wonderful Hex is. So it's just made to list conveniently websites that are awesome. So I mentioned Uniswap earlier. Right down here it says Uniswap V2. These are two of the same, both of these titles. Anyway, if you want to trade for Hex, you could go to this website, or you could get a membership at either one of these other two websites. And those are three places that you could acquire some Hex tokens in order to submit them and earn your interest, or just hold on to them and wait for price appreciation. By the way, that's what people with Bitcoin are doing. Just buying Bitcoin and holding and waiting for price appreciation. And so if it goes from, it's at 47,000 right now because of the worldwide hype, Putin talking about Bitcoin, I believe. Right now it's March 29th, 2022, right before 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time, United States, and Ukraine is being invaded by Russia. And so that's why I mentioned Putin, the president of Russia. I got another compliment from Scott. Everything you've said so far had been pretty straightforward. Awesome. So once again, so price appreciation. Sorry, I went on that tangent of time stamping it. Right now, Bitcoin's at 47,000. And what if it goes to 80,000? Then you have a little bit less than a double. But Hex is at 15 cents, and its recent all-time high, or its all-time high, about 3 months ago or 2.5 months ago, was 54 cents, 55 cents, something like that. Bitcoin's high was it 60,000, or was it less than that? And so, like, what I'm trying to get at is, if Hex goes to from 15 cents, like, what sort of mind does everybody here have? Do they want to make quick gains, or do they just want to make successful gains, or do they want options here in the near future? Or do they just want to lock it up and forget about it? Hex helps everyone with all of these ideals. So Hex is 15 cents right now. If it goes to 30 cents, then that would be a most definite double. And that would just be like Bitcoin really striving for 80,000. Some people that Chris and I know, actually mutual friend, he thinks that Bitcoin's going to go to 250,000. I think that, okay, first of all, 250,000, let's 50, that's what, 9x from 50,000? And so 9x times 15, that's $1.35. Do I think that Bitcoin could go to 250,000, or that Hex could go to $1.35 more easily? That's a question. $1.35 doesn't seem that bad. That's a question for people who are only holding liquidity. But if it is that you're interested in earning that interest and doing without the value for a long period of time and being just fine with it, then you could be making a whole lot more. And you can do the math at a place called stakehex.today. This is a place where you could, here's the Hex chart, and you could put price points on what dates you think that the chart's going to look like. and have some fun with some forward thinking. You can change your values from Hex to USD and get a better look. And then here at the top, if it was that you told it to look up a wallet that has stakes, then it would calculate the amount of stakes, the amount of shares. The amount of shares is it tells you how much interest you get. So I was telling you, the earlier you lock up an amount of value, the better it is for your interest rate. Your interest rate is derived from your shares. Anytime you see the word shares in crypto, that has to do with your interest rate. Anytime you see the word stakes, that has to do with locking it up. And you're pegged to that number, that amount. You can't go and change it later on. You can't say, "Oh, I want to move that stake out further because I put it at a time where I really don't think that I need it, or it's coming too soon. I can do without it longer." You can't do that sort of thing. You can't edit a stake after it's put, unless you just want to get out of it, unless you want to cancel it and be punished, absorb your penalty. And the penalty won't go below negative. It won't go negative. It won't cost you any more. So what I like to tell people is each stake stands alone. You can't add time to it, and you can't add hex tokens to it. You can't make it more sizable. You just need to put another one right beside it for even longer. Or if you want to keep your balance, your balances in, like make your balance book easier to maintain, then just put another stake right next to it for the same amount of time. But I personally recommend you stake your value, have a stake coming out for every 6 months. So like maybe within a year, you don't need anything, but in a year and a half, you would like for it to come out. Okay. So a year and a half, 2 years, 2.5 years, 3 years, 3.5 years, 4 years. But maybe instead of starting with the ones that will end closer to you, maybe you start with the ones that will end further away from you. Or maybe you start at those further away ones and then kind of like riddle it, like come closer to you, and then go back out again and fill in all the little voids. So you take care of the furthest ones, you take care of the closest ones, and then you work on the in between. When it is that you have that income, that when it is that you have the expendable income, the income that would go to this sort of thing. Don't sacrifice your life for this. Don't take big gambling chances. Nothing's absolutely certain, but if you were to buy gold with this money, then yeah, go ahead and buy crypto with this money. So back to this Hex Noob website. Here it is mentioning Hex, the Staker app again, and then go.hex.com, that website that I was just showing you here, right, to connect your wallet and interact with it. And then some more of the same websites that have been mentioned. So once again, these are community members that have proven themselves and they have built. Then come some interesting things. You can calculate some of your Hex earnings. You can calculate gas on Ethereum. This Hex ladder is a pretty interesting thing. I haven't used it. However, it can help you create an idea of your stakes going outward. That's what that's meant for. That's what ladder means. You can ladder out like those 6-month rungs on a ladder outward. I cannot describe to you how awesome it is to have 6 months. Every 6 months, I come up to a bag of money and I decide whether I want to do without it for, well, basically 15 years, or do I need to use it now in my life? Because the 15 years is because I'm going to attach it onto the highest rung. I'm gonna shoot it beyond the highest rung of my ladder. And then in another 6 months, I'll have another situation to decide. Is it gonna, like, how much of it is gonna go to that highest rung? Because I've already filled in all the every 6 months for 15 years. And so recommended wallets. Like I said earlier, the Staker app, it could allow you to do everything within it. It can sit on your phone. It can sit on your Android or your Apple. Or you can have the Google Chrome extension, metamask.io. And MetaMask is going to provide you passwords. People who obtain those passwords can get into sending your funds or using your funds. So don't give those passwords out. Just whatever you do, never give those passwords out. Because the way that cryptocurrency works is people from anywhere can get into your stuff if they know the code. But as long as they don't know the code to open up access to your coins, then it's all cryptic to them. It's all just a bunch of numbers and digits and stuff, and they don't know where to start. But if you give them a place to hold on to, they're going to open that stuff up. They're going to grab your shit. They're going to put it somewhere else. Before you knew that they had entered, started the robbery, they already sent it away. And now they have control of that value. You have no one to run to and say, I used to have this value, please make it right again. There is none of that. So hexsafe.win. This is a website that can tell you more about security. Price charts, which I really don't pay too much attention to. Coin Paprika is one of these websites that's listed here. And that's what I had up earlier whenever Hex was number 6. This website here, How to Pulse, is one that I have in a later tab. So the How to Pulse website, let's say we're going to talk about that here soon. How to Pulse. We're going to talk about that soon. Okay, this one here is etherscan.io. Etherscan, I told you the number 2 crypto is Ethereum, and Hex was built on top of Ethereum. So all the activity on top of Ethereum can be seen through Etherscan. So you can search Ethereum's block activities through this website, and everything's transparent. It's anonymous of like who's behind these digits and making these things happen, but it's all there to see. It's all transparent. There there are a few famous people whose wallets have been identified. So in those cases, people aren't anonymous. Down here at the bottom of hexnoob.com, you can find a lot of the Telegram groups that exist. That's a really cool list here. And these are all hex related. This isn't a mixture of other things that are going on. This is hex. Here at the top in red, it talks about getting direct messages from scammers. Whenever we're in Telegram, we are susceptible. Whenever you're new, you're susceptible to some hot girl with, a profile pic of a hot girl messaging you and wanting to get to know you for no freaking reason, right? The reason is because it's not a hot girl behind that account, and they want your sensitive information. So don't even entertain this stuff. Instead have your own reasons to be there. And think about it. If you ask for something in the main chat and then somebody direct messages you privately about that something, why is it that they didn't just answer your question in the main chat for everybody to verify that information is correct? That's what we have to do these days with such scammers. And the scammers are only here because there's blood in the water, basically. The scammers are here because there's money to be made, because they're wealthy people. All right. So furthermore, Hex.vision can give you a forward-looking projection into what everybody's expecting in the years to come. And this marker down here says 2036, January 1st, 2036. What is that, 14 years? So I think the reason, it's really interesting. Look at how people have grouped every year stakes. And then there's 6-month ones popping up every once in a while. And it's because Hex is so new, then you can kind of see people who participate. You can see kind of the heartbeat of everybody interacting with it and making their decisions all together as they arrive at these values. But it'll start to change shape. Like this stuff right here in the middle, I believe those are 10-year stakes. So a lot of people in the very beginning decided, the beginning, way over here to the left, off the chart to the left, 2.5 years ago, they decided that 10 years would be an appropriate time to maximum trust this process, and then maybe these stakes right here that are kind of short, maybe these are people who are just every month coming to the end of a stake and just putting it out for another month, for another month, for another month, Furthermore, there are websites made by the community that show a TV guide, show everybody in the Hex community who is live on any of the social media stuff like YouTube or Twitch or DLive or TikTok, people who have those channels and do exclusive Hex content or are moving inside of the Hex community. They're influencers. They could have they could be sponsored here, So these top three, it says live here at the top middle, and then over on the right side, it says how many people are actually watching right now. The same guy who created this website that we're looking at, which is like the Hex TV guide at hexstreamers.com, he also is doing this Pulse Radio app that you can find on YouTube. And let's see, this here on YouTube is actually our Telegram group talking about one of the projects of Richard Hart's that's about to be a product. That's what these people are talking about live with voices inside and 24/7 just about inside one of the Telegram chats. And what my buddy here has done, who has created this, he broadcasts to YouTube underneath this channel, Pulse Radio app. The reason why I don't have subscribed is because I'm subscribed under a different avatar that keeps all of my Hex stuff together and organized. So my buddy, he has this channel, and then he broadcasts everybody's voice conversations. And this is a great location for people to tune in like a radio and not even be in the conversation, but understand the jargon and start to understand the amp is what I wanted to say, but just so that you can get some experience and some understandings of the attitudes that people put towards this stuff, because this is the next finance. We call this Web 3.0, or we call this Finance 2.0. This is like an unleashed stock market. If you want to be a part of a movement, you have freedom to be a part of it. This movement happens to be with finance, which is the most moving of all movements. It's amazing. This shit's gonna explode. All right. So notice how the TV at, like, for example, my parents' house, it always talks bad about Bitcoin, but Bitcoin never dies. So what's the deal? Why aren't you dead, Bitcoin? All right. So now people inside the space, they're telling you that there's a better Bitcoin. You gonna look at it? You gonna check it out? One that's got interest programmed into it? What? You can earn interest without trusting anyone else but the token contract that you're holding tokens to? Okay, so going further into the products that are created by the creator of Hex, you will then arrive at knowing a little bit more that what he's doing is he's creating an ecosystem now to make sure that the Hex token is unfazed by what the rest of crypto does. And so I told you that Hex runs on Ethereum. Here in the future, Hex will run on something that Richard Hart creates. It'll run on something else. There will be a new Ethereum. And then in order to get in and out of Hex token, I told you that there's other cryptos and there's websites that you can go to that are like exchanges where you can exchange stuff. I told you Uniswap. I told you Matcha. I told you 1inch.io. Well, instead of having to go to those guys, then Richard Hart is also creating something where you can exchange your tokens in and out of say a stable coin. Say you need to send value back to your bank. A wise thing would be to get into a stable coin and send it on down that path. And that path is really simple. And I'll just leave it at that. I think I did a good job. So thank you, Scott, for being here. And whomever else has come to watch. This has been my rundown of Hex Token and what you can do with it, and Richard Hart and how he's offering value to the crypto communities. And so, Scott, via text message, I will send you the link to my PDF that's an intro to crypto, and it will have all the little steps that you could take in order to get value out of your bank and over into Hex Token and stake that Hex Token and unstake that Hex Token in the future. And then through that whole process, you would understand how to backtrack it back to your bank. Like, say you wanted to take that interest that you earned, send it to your bank, cash that out, but yet keep the principal going. And then, like I said, I'm trying to introduce permaculture communities to the Hex Token and the workings of Richard Hart here. So if it is that you could help me out with that, or whatever, spread the word, introduce me to people, introduce him to people, whatever the case, it would be lovely, because this is something that I believe in. This is something that I am a part of. Cool, man. Thanks for being here, Scott. I'll text you soon. Later, everyone. This is a crypto takeover.